Ever find yourself scrolling through job listings online and thinking, wow, they used to pay people to do that?
It's true.
Get ready to dive into a rabbit hole of bygone vocations because today we're cracking open 50 Forgotten Professions by Mike Ciman.
Yeah, it's a fascinating look at how work has evolved, driven by technology, societal shifts, even quirks of human behavior, really.
It's giving me serious time traveler vibes.
I can see that.
For example, imagine waking up to a knock on the window at the crack of dawn.
Oh, wow.
That's how the human alarm clock made sure you weren't late for work.
Can you picture that relationship? I mean, the trust between the alarm clock and the client, that had to be rock solid. No hitting the snooze button on that arrangement.
Talk about accountability. This book made me realize these weren't just jobs. They were woven into the fabric of daily life. It makes you think about what we've gained and lost with our modern conveniences.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, get ready for a wild shift in gears, because up next is a profession that's both fascinating and a little unsettling. Resurrectionists.
Now, before you picture graveyards filled with zombies,
Right.
these were actually individuals who procured bodies, often illegally, for medical schools.
Okay, that does paint a slightly less Hollywood picture, but still, this was a real job, driven by the demand for anatomical knowledge in a time before ethical regulations were in place.
That is true.
It really makes you appreciate the importance of ethics in research. But on a lighter note, let's talk about a profession that sounds straight out of a fairy tale. Lamplighters.
Ah, yes. The keepers of the urban twilight. Imagine the skill it took to navigate those gaslit streets, pole in hand, bringing light to the city. It's a powerful reminder of how technology can completely transform the landscape, sometimes literally overnight.
It's mind-boggling how quickly electricity revolutionized our world. One day you have lamplighters illuminating the streets, and the next they're gone, replaced by the flick of a switch.
Exactly, and this theme of rapid technological advancement repeats throughout the book. Take, for instance, the bowling pin setter. This was a job that provided income to countless individuals, many of them young men, and then automation arrived.
It's easy to romanticize the past, but 50 Forgotten Professions doesn't shy away from the realities of these jobs. For every charming milkman on horseback, there was a physically demanding role like the pin setter that disappeared practically overnight.
And their disappearance often had a ripple effect. Think about the social aspect of many of these jobs. The milkman wasn't just delivering dairy, he was a familiar face, someone who knew the neighborhood, someone who contributed to a sense of community.
It makes you wonder if something valuable was lost in that transition to mass production and impersonal service.
That loss of connection kind of reminds me of another profession from the book, actually, that's particularly relevant today, the factory reader.
Oh, right. Before podcasts and audiobooks, this was how workers got their dose of entertainment and information while on the factory floor.
Yeah.
Can you imagine listening to someone read for hours on end?
It sounds almost quaint now, but it really highlights the human need for connection and narrative. Consider this. The book even mentions that some factory readers would sneak in radical political ideas, sparking debate and even inspiring change.
It's like a real-life analog version of going viral. So we've got these fascinating glimpses into how technology has replaced certain jobs, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But what about the professions that faded away, not because of machines, but because of shifts in our values?
That's where the storyteller comes in. Not someone reading from a book, but a true weaver of tales, someone captivating audiences with their words.
It's amazing to think that storytelling in its purest form has been around for centuries, long before the printing press, radio, or the internet.
Exactly. And while the methods of delivery have evolved from campfires to podcasts, the power of a well-told story clearly stands the test of time.
It really makes you think about the enduring qualities of human experience. So 50 Forgotten Professions takes us on this incredible journey through time, highlighting jobs that have vanished due to technology, ethical shifts, and evolving social norms. It's like holding a mirror up to our own relationship with work and progress.
Precisely. And that brings us to one of the most thought-provoking aspects of this book, I think. The telegraph operator.
Oh, the masters of Morse code. It's fascinating to think that this job, which once represented the absolute cutting edge of communication technology, became obsolete in a flash with the invention of the telephone.
And their story really underscores how important adaptability is in the face of change. Imagine the dedication it took to learn an entirely new language, one based on sounds and silences, just to transmit a message.
Talk about a steep learning curve. It makes you appreciate the skills that were honed in those bygone eras, like precision, focus, and quick thinking. These weren't just button pushers, they were interpreters of a complex code. They were responsible for relaying vital information.
Absolutely. And while the technology might be long gone, the underlying skills, adaptability, clear communication, attention to detail, those are more relevant than ever in our fast-paced world.
It really makes you think about what skills we're cultivating today that'll be valuable in the future, especially as technology continues to evolve at lightning speed.
Right.
Speaking of which, this next forgotten profession takes us back to the days before smartphones and pocket calculators. The calculating machine operator.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Those were the days.
Picture this. You walk into a room and it's filled with these massive machines, gears whirring, levers clanking.
It's like something out of a movie.
These weren't your average calculators.
Right.
No, these were intricate contraptions requiring specialized knowledge to operate.
Oh, absolutely.
The book mentioned that some of these machines were the size of a small car. I can't even imagine the focus and precision needed to input data and interpret the results. It's like a whole other language.
It really is. It's a great example of how what we might consider tedious or complex today was once considered cutting edge. Those operators played a crucial role in industries like finance, engineering, even early computer science.
It really puts into perspective how far we've come in terms of computing power. Like, our smartphones can now perform calculations that once required a room full of machinery and a team of skilled operators.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
It really does.
What will be the calculating machine of our generation that future historians will look back on with a sense of awe and maybe even a little amusement? It's a fun thought experiment to consider.
It really is. And it speaks to the central theme of this entire deep dive, wouldn't you say? Change is the only constant, especially in the world of work.
Precisely. 50 Forgotten Professions isn't just a nostalgic trip down memory lane. It's a powerful reminder that adaptability, curiosity, a willingness to embrace new skills, those are essential for navigating the ever-evolving landscape of work.
So to our listeners out there, we leave you with this. What job do you think will be considered a forgotten profession 50 years from now? And what does its disappearance tell us about how we live, work, and connect in the digital age? Keep those questions in mind, and until next time, happy pondering.